Today, we're going to share new products for our most passionate PC users, those of us who love to game on the PC and create and share compelling moments. The energy we see, especially from the gaming community, is simply amazing. It's what makes it one of the most exciting areas in all of computing. And it's a driving force behind the innovation that we deliver at Intel. We're growing and establishing partnerships in the industry to further elevate the gaming experience. But this isn't an easy task. But with nearly 500 million players on the PC, it's really well worth it. So we work tirelessly to understand what people want and need in order to deliver the best experience. Here's what we know is definitely needed. Powerful performance. It's for the ability to not only compete at peak levels, but to also enable new and different types of gameplay. We'll share a little bit of that with you today. And to share your achievements, and we got to admit, sometimes you've got to have fails, through streaming and highlights. And now, more than ever, the ability to play anytime and anywhere. And because of our dedication to deliver technology innovation, we've been able to stay a step ahead and blaze a path for what's possible. Megatasking is a perfect example of this. As streaming services became more prevalent, it fueled the desire for people to want to do more and more on a single device. The ability to game, stream, and record has been one of the single most important contributors of the rise of esports. Intel makes it possible with powerful performance. According to recent research and reports, esports will reach approximately 500 million fans by the year 2020. That eclipses very popular worldwide sports like professional basketball. Back in 2006, we saw this trend on the rise and embraced an opportunity to fuel this passionate group of gamers and viewers with our partnership with ESL to launch the Intel Extreme Masters. Now in its 12th season, Intel Extreme Masters is the longest-running global pro gaming event series and continues to be a pioneer of esports competitions. And as esports viewership continues to grow, we see tremendous opportunity to make the competition even more immersive and exciting. So to talk more about that and the trends we're seeing, we wanted to hear from our friends at ESL. As you heard, this community really can't get enough. They are a driving demand for even richer, more performance-intense experiences. And for years, we've delivered on that demand by releasing an annual cadence of new technologies that helps push gameplay to its limits. The 8th generation Intel Core family is designed to provide the right levels of performance across all segments. And so far, we've delivered on 2 major milestones. First, back in August of last year, we launched our first 8th generation Core processor for mainstream products in the notebook factor, thin and light notebooks and 2-in-1s. And this was an amazing step. 40% performance improvement over just the prior year, over the 7th generation parts. And the reception's been amazing. With over 140 designs in market now and growing, we expect that reception and that volume to continue to grow. And then following the launch of the mainstream notebook products, we announced our desktop processor family for higher-end consumer systems. With up to 6 cores and 12 threads, our 8th generation desktop line includes the i7 8700K SKU, which is hands down the best desktop gaming processor we've ever done. And the results have shown that where it's outsold all other i7K SKUs we've delivered before it. And today marks the 3rd major milestone in our 8th generation family. First, we're expanding our 8th generation Core desktop line of products. You'll see new SKUs enter the market at different price points, and these are complemented by new Intel 300 series chipsets that transforms your PC with things like modern standby for instant resume and ambient computing capabilities. These new desktop platforms dramatically improve the computing experience with features like voice-first interaction and better support for personal assistants. We're also very excited to introduce something really completely new for Intel. For mobile H series processors, and for desktop, we're adding i5 Plus and i7 Plus processors to this 8th generation family. Take note of the plus. It's a new indicator for us that we've added to our badges, and I'd like to share a little bit more on why. As we looked at the performance, not just at the processor, but at the whole system level, we knew we could get even better performance and responsiveness with Intel Octane memory. This is a memory technology that truly is groundbreaking. It will significantly speed up launch and load times for gameplay and enable faster editing capabilities for creators. So we'd like to have Chuck come out and show you what we mean by this. So Chuck, welcome.
We all know that memory performance can have a huge impact on the overall performance of our platform. And for gamers, performance means everything. They don't just want high performance, they demand it. So I'd like to show you how Octane memory can actually change the performance of your systems. So I've got two identical systems here. These are Acer Predator systems. Now, they've got the same 8700K processor, same high-end GPU. The only difference is this system over here has Octane technology, and this system over here has standard SSD technology. Now, we're running a benchmark based off of Final Fantasy XIV. Now, this benchmark takes a look at the overall platform and measures how it's running and executing this game. Now, typically it's looking at frame rate and how fast we can move in and out of those frames or those scenes for the player. Now, you can see it's running on both systems. Frame rate looks great, details are high, animations are great, special effects are eye-popping, so we know both platforms are running great. But let's look at the Octane system. You can see that we just wrapped up here, and it had a final score of 19,616, but look at this load time, 10.7 seconds. That's how long it took to go from scene to scene. Well, on the non-Octane system, it took almost 18 seconds, almost double, and that's the time it took to move from one scene to the next. And if you're a professional gamer, you want to be into the next scene 2 seconds early, not 2 seconds late. So if you look up here, you can also see one other metric. Our Octane system had a frame rate of 140 frames per second, while the same system without Octane technology was down to 132. And for a gamer, frames per second really do matter.
So that's pretty awesome. So whether it's just me being impatient to get in the next level or get that tactical advantage, that Octane technology just really helps you when every second counts.
Absolutely. Octane's amazing technology.
All right. Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks, Chris.
So we're so excited about the value Octane brings that we wanted to make it easier for people to recognize systems that include the technology. So this 8th generation Intel Core i5 Plus and i7 Plus badges will soon appear on premium PCs in the same recognizable place as Intel Core badges today. And the plus will indicate and be a signal that there's an enhanced core experience when Octane memory is on the Octane memory or technology is on the platform. Now, we saw how that can apply to gameplay and performance, and as you heard from ESL, performance is really important for gameplay, but it goes beyond that. People want to train, learn, and share, driving a cycle of amazing content. And not just as content consumers, but as a means of expression. And it really radically redefines what creativity means and the technology requirements needed to deliver those experiences. Today, people can connect with their fans in the community by sharing their own videos on broadcasting platforms like Twitch, Douyu, and Huya. So enabling the computing power to build your following guided us in our technology innovation as well. So we're going to have Chuck come back out, and we want to show you what's possible when we bring the performance of an i7 desktop of just last year to mobile with this latest 8th gen core processors. So Chuck, why don't we go through, I'm a gamer, I've got my highlight reel, I want to produce something for my fans. Show me how this new technology helps me.
So there's a bunch of new technology that content creators can now use on our laptop systems. So the first thing I want to call out is take a look. We have the 6 cores, 12 threads. Now normally if you saw that, you would assume you had a desktop. But now that's all running on our thin and light notebooks, right? So let's take a look at how Octane technology allows you to get in and out of your content creation. So I'm going to launch Adobe Premiere here, where I'm creating a film. Now, if you've run Adobe Premiere in the past, you know that if you launch Adobe Premiere with one of your movies that you're creating, it can sometimes take over a minute to open the application and import your movie. But you can see here, with Octane technology, I'm already there. takes the movies, it moves memory in and out so much faster, so you're in and out for your content creation much, much faster. Now, the next technology I want to show you, this is basically a workstation-like type experience. Up to 2 4K monitors. I got external keyboard, external mouse. You can see I've got a terabyte of memory attached to it, but it's all on this thin, light platform that's right here. Now, again, it's not just that we wanted to, for the 8th gen platform, we wanted to address everything within that platform that made work better, right? So not only do we have the 6 cores, the 12 threads, we've also got wireless gigabit. So if you're moving throughout the office or the home, you don't have to worry about unplugging and then sacrificing speed as you move to the next room. Wireless gigabit is going to give you the fastest speed throughout the office or the home. You never have to worry about those uploads or downloads taking longer as you move across the office space.
So in some cases, when you're mapped to the right router, you could have faster speeds on wireless than you could on your wired cable.
Exactly. Wireless gigabit is the must-have for these new platforms. Now, the last technology, we all work on the go, especially with these platforms. It's great when we have these workstation-like experiences. We get to the office, we have to plug everything in. Well, these also come with Thunderbolt technology. So you can see, even though I've got the keyboard, the mouse, the 2 monitors, I've only got 1 cable. So when I unplug that 1 cable, I pick up my new Asus ZenBook, I'm off and running. Everything was up and running, ready to go.
So again, we've brought the performance of an i7 desktop from our 7th gen now into mobile, connect a full workstation-like video editing with a single cable, end-to-end performance from launch through production. That's just fantastic.
Content creators have never had it so good.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks, Chris.
So now, what happens when we take that 8th gen core performance from a mobile that we just showed for the prosumer to a pro? The technology gets even more powerful. So to show you what I mean, we've invited a team of professional animators here with us today to share with us how the new 8th gen mobile technology is taking their creativity to new levels. So why don't you tell us a bit about your background and what you and your team do?
Well, I'm a filmmaker, originally from Singapore. And I went to the US to study computer graphics in the 90s. At that time, we were using like boxy, giant SGI machines that cost hundreds and thousands of dollars. Well, 20 years later, I've been in this business for 2 decades, and I've worked on games for PlayStations, and then moving on to movies and work at studios like DreamWorks Animation, Sony, Disney, Paramount. Work on movies like Transformers, Beauty and the Beast store, as well as animated films like How to Train Your Dragon, Shrek, Kung Fu Panda.
It's really amazing that we've all seen your work and it's touched us all.
It takes an army to make a movie. Thank you very much. Well, for the last decade, I've been doing this thing called previs for movies, short for pre-visualization. We help content creators, like film directors, visualize their movie before they actually go shoot it on set, shoot it outside. We create so-called lower res versions of epic scenes like aliens invasions, giant monsters fighting, at a fairly cheap and a quick process. At the same time, movie producers, people who budget the movies, they watch the previous movies, they'll see how much it takes to make all these visual effects scenes and how much it takes to put together the shooting crew. So it's better for them to estimate. So it's a tried and proven process in Hollywood, and it has been used in all the big visual effects movies that you have seen, from Marvels to the DC. And now we're proud to say Temple is one of the first studios in China that specialize in previous production. And all that, besides I'm working on directing my first movie as well.
Congratulations, and you're a really busy guy, so appreciate your time with us. Maybe, I know you need the latest technology to help all that work and bring your vision together for the directors and the actors. I see your team is working on a lineup of brand new laptops from our partners using this new mobile 8th gen core. Can you tell us about the process and how technology fits in?
Absolutely. The process is not new. It's been around for years, but the technology has greatly improved. and the speed and the quality of what we produce. Let me give you an example. 费翔，我们看一下分镜。So we start from a script and the storyboard from our director, our producer, and our editor will cut it into what we call an animatic. So that gives an idea of the pacing, the dialogue, the composition, and from here on, we bring in our professional animators, our previous artists, and the next process begins. So our graphic artists, over here, you can see from the 2D sketches, we use this 3D software called Autodesk Maya. We'll take them and turn them into 3D animations. We build virtual landscape, virtual castles, virtual monsters. Here, Fei Xiang and our other animators, they are animating in Maya. And then we'll translate that from storyboards, from the scripts and the storyboards.
So you start with 2D models, but then as you move to 3D, that's just got to take a ton of processing power.
Yes, we do. We need really powerful systems like these to create all these 3D scenes, to make them lifelike and to move in real time in order to sell the director's vision to his team. Let's look at, this is some of the scenes done in Maya, which is good for animating and create models, etc. And then all work done in 3D will be ported over to Brian here, who is our Unreal expert, in order to make them more interactive. So the director will be able to come here and make changes in real time, because that's what Unreal is good for. So in the meantime, Fei Xiang, our editor, will take all this footage and he will sweeten the pacing, add audio, as well as other effects. And the director can review, again, the work in progress. So let's take a look at this clip. 非常我们看一下那个 Unreal 的 3D. In Unreal, we are able to take all the scenes that we have created, all the animations, and we can tweak the cameras, we can change some of the effects in real time based on the director's feedback in minutes. And while the directors has, and at the same time, because of this instantaneous changes, while the directors may be shooting at one location, and after that set, he could come back, and he may have feedback for us, and we change it, we'll show him, and he'd like the changes or not, and he can go back to his shoot. So for now, these edits can be done at unprecedented speed.
Could you give us a feel like maybe, if you were even working on technology 2 or 3 years ago to now, and what you were describing, it takes 3 years or more to make a movie. So getting that technology to synchronize, what's the order of magnitude? How much faster is this process for you now with these latest systems?
Well, in old days, we used to haul like boxy, heavy workstations either to a hotel room or in an obscure place in a set, make the animation, make the changes, press render, and then come back and see if it renders out okay, if the machine crashed. So as a result, now, we didn't, at that time, we didn't have the performance that we need to help the director. But now, we're able to do this kind of work on the go with better results. Our work is very collaborative, and there are usually a few of us, and it's super helpful to stay mobile. And at the same time, having the processing power we need to do the work. So we're able to give the directors the ability to be more creative, to explore more options, and our turnaround is no longer days or weeks, but just a matter of hours and minutes.
Wow.
Yeah, and having faster and more powerful machines has been a game changer in our trade in terms of giving more creative freedom for the content creators, whether you're VR producers, a short filmmaker, to blockbuster movie makers.
Cool. That's an amazing example of the technology not only helping you, but really influencing the creative process itself. So we really wanted to thank you for sharing that, and your team for giving us this helping us walk through that, and actually something you are actually working on for production. So appreciate it, Hawk.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. This class of professional content creation continues to be a really hot growth area, and over the last couple of years, we've seen these types of machines in mobile grow 25% year on year. And as you heard from Hawk and team, or if you see in other areas like architecture or design, the ability to be this kind of performance in mobile allows people to get on set and get right into the action for the creative flow. And in fact, if you look at branded workstations, about a third of workstations now are mobile. And so we really see this trend continuing with this new technology. So this desire to create anytime, anywhere is really driving the industry forward. And overall, across consumer and commercial, we're seeing incredible growth in the premium notebook category, 40% year on year. And we really want to continue to push forward to fuel that growth. That's why with our partners in the industry, we create purpose-built systems that take full advantage of both Intel design and manufacturing to maximize performance. And with developing these processors, we knew we had to design something for today and tomorrow's PC uses. Today, I'm thrilled to be here in China to launch our next lineup of 8th Gen Intel Core high-performance mobile processors. This chip really focused on performance by leveraging our 14-nanometer process technology and adding 2 cores to create a powerful 6-core, 12-thread processor. But it's not just the number of cores. It's the quality and the performance of each core that really counts. And while we added cores, we increased frequency, all while maintaining a thermal envelope that you need for notebook-class devices and that portability we've shown off. By doing this, we've been able to gain 30% in productivity just year on year, just over what we announced last year. And on some of the video editing workloads like we shared with Chuck earlier, you'll see up to performance of like 59%. Again, just year over year on this leading-edge 8th Gen processor for notebooks. So really proud to say, these are our highest performing chips we've ever done for a laptop. And the performance is so great and on a level that's really unprecedented for mobile that we felt we needed a new way to communicate that, another way to communicate this next level of capability. It was less than a year ago that we brought an i9 level of performance to our desktop with our X series family. And so today, I'm really excited to reveal the first ever i9 for a laptop. Yeah, come on. So this level of performance we've never seen in a notebook before, but we actually want to see that in action. So Chuck, why don't you come out and tell us a little bit when we actually show this in action?
So like you're saying, this is our first ever Core i9 laptop. I mean, that badge means you're going to have unprecedented level of performance in something that's a mobile device. Now, I'm telling you, this is the best processor for a laptop Intel has ever made for content creation and gaming. This is a monster.
So now we get the best single core performance for the best frame rates when you're gaming, and the best multi-thread performance when you start piling on intensive applications like streaming and recording. But instead of talking about it, let's actually show this in action.
Chris, I'm excited to show this off. So the first thing I want you to see, we've got David on stage to show us the sneak preview of a game called Conqueror's Blade. Now, this is made by NetEase and Booming Games, and this has been fully optimized for the 8th generation core system, our Core i9. Now, this plays great on 4-core systems, but on 8th gen Core i9 systems, it gets even better. It's been fully optimized to scale past 6 cores, and it takes full advantage of the AVX instruction set. So that means you get some new things you wouldn't see on a 4-core system. Now, the first thing you're gonna get is brand new physics. So whether it's a siege engine blowing up, a battering ram going through a wall, or rocks exploding against a rock wall, you're gonna see them in vivid detail like never before. Next thing you're gonna get, because we've got those 6 cores, 12 threads, is brand new AI. Our armies can be larger than ever because we have enough processing to actually intelligently move our armies. These battles are epic. I mean, they stretch across the horizon.
So this is just a new theory, a new way of doing gameplay. It's not just you in the scene, it's you and your armies interacting and how you can scale that.
Exactly. And next thing we get something called ragdolling. Now, this is the physics of the characters themselves. When our characters are impacted by something in the game, they react just like they would in real life. So again, this makes it more immersive than ever before. You get those high frame rates to make the gaming more intense. Now also, this processor scales up to 4.8 gigahertz.
Wow.
Right? So you got that high frame rate, you got the 6 cores, the 12 threads. I mean, that makes these games more vivid than ever before, which makes these so much more immersive.
So let's talk a bit more about frame rates. So if you take a title like Total Warhammer 2, what we've seen is moving from the 7th generation core processor to this 8th gen on the i9 on the exact same high-end graphics card in a notebook, up to 40% or a little better than 40% frame rates when you move to the latest processor. So that really gives you the edge for the most precise gameplay and a really smooth VR experience.
Exactly. Now, again, I want you to call attention. Look at that CPU utilization up there. We've got all 12 threads, and they are almost matched. Now, that's because Dave is not just playing this game, he is also streaming it. So while Dave has this great immersive gameplay with all those new physics, because he's streaming it, all his followers are also seeing all that new gameplay. If he was doing this on a 4-core system, it would be nearly as immersive, not only just for Dave, but for all his thousands of followers.
Cool. So one of the new features that we've put in this processor at the i9 level, something we call thermal velocity boost. So what it allows it to do is increase the clock frequency whenever up to 200 megahertz above the normal turbo frequency, whenever the extra performance bump is needed and the thermals allow. And the Core i9 is unlocked for those who want to push even further. And as an example of that, our partners at Dell were able to take this Grace i9 and already 5 gigahertz, on a notebook was really impressive. So really, seeing people take this new processor and just push it to the limits right out of the gate.
So just like we showed on an earlier desktop, gamers now have 6 cores and 12 threads. On a title like Conqueror's Blade, it changes the gameplay. But as we showed earlier, you can now also have the ability to play and stream. This is where those 6 cores really step in. Before, gameplay would only be impacted or impossible to do the gameplay, but now we can do that and stream and record or do other tasks.
And so in a case of that gaming and streaming so popular with esports and to build your follower as a gamer, again, moving from the top of our i7 last year to this new i9, that gaming and streaming performance has improved over 30% just year on year. It's a really incredible application of the technology to gameplay. So to get an even better look at this in action, we're going to host a CSGO exhibition up here right on stage at the end of this presentation. We'll have some amazing players up here battling it out with one of the most competitive esport titles in the world, all while using these brand new laptops from our partners.
Yeah, if you guys never watched an esports tournament, come on in. This is going to be exciting to watch. It's going to be a lot of fun.
This is going to be the first ever competition on these new 8th gen Intel Core laptops, so I'm excited to see that. Hopefully everyone can stick around and see the tournament.
I'm excited too.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks.
Starting today, you'll see a lineup of new laptops with 8th gen core processors for our high-performance mobile come from our partners. We're going to encourage you to share with you at our showcase in the back of the theater here to really get hands-on and see these in action. And you'll hear more about these new systems in the market from our partners in the near future. I really wanted to thank our industry partners and OEMs and guests for joining us in making the PC the world's most essential tool for gaming, creating, connecting, and getting things done. And we know that one size doesn't fit all, and we know that innovation can't stop here. And that's why we will continue to work daily to better understand the needs of the people who depend on our products. The result is no matter what you can expect with Intel inside, you'll have the most personal and powerful experience, and we'll improve that year on year. And it's only going to get better as Intel advances capabilities with 5G for amazing connectivity, AI and VR, all in the pursuit of bringing a more immersive, faster, and realistic gaming and experiences to life. So I'd like to welcome Ray back up on stage. And together, we're going to invite our partners to join us. Without their innovation and collaboration, we wouldn't be able to bring these amazing devices to life. So we want to give them and our engineers back in the factory and around the world a big applause as they join us for a group photo.